Okay, so now it's 4:30 p.m. in the evening. Uh, I'm going to continue the second part of biological classification. So the next kingdom which we are going to learn about is kingdom fungi. So majorly kingdom fungi consists of organisms which are heterotrophic. Okay, heterotrophic means which feed on other organisms. Okay, then they show a greater diversity in morphology and habitat. You must have seen fungi in on moist bread and rotten fruits. Okay, the moist bread, the cottony appearance of on the bread, okay, is fungi. And also sometimes you may find black dots on bread, and also some white patches on rotten fruits. Okay, those are also fungi. The common mushroom you eat and toadstools are also fungi. Okay, white spots seen on mustard leaves are due to parasitic fungi. Some unicellular fungi, that is yeast, are used to make beer and bread. Other fungi causes diseases in plants and animals. Wheat rust causing Puccinia is an important example. Okay, so this is a very important example. It may come in NEET also. It may be a 1 mark question in theory question paper also. What causes wheat rust? Answer is Puccinia. Or what disease does Puccinia cause in wheat? That is wheat rust or black rust. Okay, and there are many stages in Puccinia infection also. That you will learn in higher classes. Some are the source of antibiotics, example penicillium, which produces penicillin. Okay, fungi are cosmopolitan. Cosmopolitan means they are seen in each and every part of the world. They We can see it everywhere, like in air, water, soil, plants, in and on the plants, in and on the animals also. Okay, so they are cosmopolitan in distribution. Okay, then they prefer to grow in warm and humid places. This is the habitat. Okay, the where most commonly fungi are seen. Next, have you ever wondered why we keep food in refrigerator? Yes, of course we keep food in refrigerator because we want to prevent our food from the bacterias, the fungal infections which can attack on our food. Okay, uh, next, with the exception of yeast which is unicellular, mostly all the fungi are multicellular, but yeast is the only unicellular fungi. Fungi are filamentous. Their body consists of long slender thread like structure called hyphae. Okay, see, first of all, the body of fungi is long thread like structure which is called as hyphae. Then this network of hyphae are known as mycelium. Some hyphae are continuous tubes filled with multinucleated cytoplasm. See, if like if you have a thread like thing, okay, which is not divided into segments, and then if we have nucleus, that means it becomes multinucleated organism. Are you getting it? Maybe it's confusing a bit. um, Okay, let us take sugarcane. Okay, sugarcane have internodes in them. Let us take one sugarcane as one hyphae, and each internode have one nucleus in it. Let us take this as an example. A sugarcane, each internode has one nucleus, and node is septa. That means it divides one internode from the other internode. Now, in case if these nodes are removed, that means it is one single stem with many nucleus, so it becomes multinucleated cytoplasm. Okay, yes, then this network of hyphae is known as mycelium. Some hyphae are continuous tube like filled with multinucleated cytoplasm. These are called cenocytic hyphae. Other have septate or cross wall in their hyphae. That's what I was saying. If the septa is present, it is uninucleated septate hyphae. If septa is not present, it is multinucleated cenocytic hyphae. Okay. Then the cell wall of fungi is composed of chitin and polysaccharides. Chemical composition of cell wall of fungi is chitin and polysaccharide. Most fungi are heterotrophs and absorb soluble organic matter from the dead substrates, and hence are called as saprophytes. Saprophytes means which take organic matter from dead organisms. Okay, those are saprophytes. Parasites are those organisms which depend on other living organisms for their food. Okay, and then symbiotic association is like they are mutualism. Symbiotic association means mutually beneficial to both of the organisms. So fungi forms symbiotic association with two organisms. One is algae and another one is higher plants. If the mutualism is symbiotic association is with algae, then it is lichens. Okay, but if the symbiotic association is with roots of the higher plants, it is mycorrhiza. Okay, so you need to remember this point. If it is lichen, then it is algae, and if it is mycorrhiza, it is with higher plants. Then reproduction in fungi can be taken by vegetative means, asexual, and by sexual also. Vegetative is by fragmentation, fission, or budding. Fragmentation means like, one septa is cut into many pieces, and then each piece develops into a new organism. Then fission means like one organism is divided into two fission, like two daughter cells, and then each daughter cell grows into new organism. Then budding, as seen in hydra and yeast, it's the same thing. Asexual reproduction by spores. Spores are commonly called as conidia or sporangiospores or zoospores. Okay, conidia as seen in penicillium. If you see a diagram of penicillium, then you will see conidia, the spores. Okay, and then sexual reproduction is by oospores, ascospores, and basidiospores. These are types of sexual reproduction. Okay, the various spores are produced in distinct structures called as fruiting bodies. The sexual cycle involves the following three steps. Okay. The first step is fusion of protoplasm between two motile or non-motile gametes called plasmogamy. Fusion of nuclei called karyogamy. Meiosis in zygote resulting in haploid spores. Okay. This, I think I have a diagram of this. Okay. Yeah, it's over here. See. This is in rhizopus. Okay, so here we have two different mycelium or hyphae. Okay, then there is a protrusion, outward protrusion over here. Wait, I think it should be. Okay, I don't have that thing now. Okay, let it be. Okay, here there are two outward protrusions, protrusion of protoplasm, and then we have fusion of protoplasm. Maybe this is helping out. Okay, over here it is protrusion, then it is fusion of protoplasm, and then plasmogamy, young zygospore, mature zygospore. See, now here it is fusion of nucleus. Now we find there is a formation of zygote. Here it is called as zygospore, and then this zygospore, when again it ruptures and gives out spores, it forms by germinating, it forms a new individual called as sporangium. Now this sporangium by asexual reproduction gives spores. Again, it's like it forms the new rhizopus by germinating, and then again sporangia, and then again asexual reproduction. This is alternation of generation in rhizopus. Okay, now coming to our topic. Okay, this was the process of reproduction. Three steps. First is plasmogamy, karyogamy, and then meiosis in zygote resulting in haploid spores. Then, when a fungi reproduces sexually, two haploid hyphae are com- compatible. Mating types come together and fuse. In some fungi, the fusion of two haploid cells immediately results in diploid cells. However, in other fungi, an intervening dikaryotic stage, that is n plus n, two nuclei per cell occurs. Such a condition is called as dikaryon, and the phase is called dikaryophase of fungus. Later, the parental nuclei fuse and the cell become diploid. The fungi from fruiting bodies in which reduction division occurs, leading to the formation of haploid spores. See, in some fungi, when the fusion of nuclei or the uh, fusion of hyphae take place, the nuclei also fuses in the same time and forms the zygote, which is diploid in nature. But in some fungi, such as Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes, the the nucleus does not fuses. It stays. It stay in n plus n condition. That means there are two nucleus in one cell. That means it is dikaryon. Di means two and karyon means nuclear. So it is dikaryon, and the phase is called as dikaryophase of fungus. Then later on the nucleus fuses and then forms an haploid spore by reductional division, that is meiosis. Then morphology of mycelium, mode of spores formation and fruiting body form the basis of division of kingdom into various classes. So we may have a question called as what is the basis of division of kingdom fungi? What is it? The morphology of mycelium, mode of spore formation and fruiting bodies. These are three bases. Okay, next, Phycomycetes. The first class is Phycomycetes. The members of Phycomycetes are found in aquatic habitats and on decaying wood. That means they are either aquatic or terrestrial, and they are what is it? They depend on dead organic material in moist and damp places as they are obligate parasite on plants. Mycelium is aseptate and cenocytic. Aseptate and cenocytic means they don't have septa. Okay. Asexual reproduction takes place by zoospores and aplanospores. Zoospores means motile spores. See, zoo itself indicates that means it is like, see, zoo is common in zoospores and zoology. Zoology is the study of animals, and animals are motile, isn't it? So you can like make imagination that zoospore are also motile gametes. Then aplanospores is the opposite of zoospores. Like you can think like that. Okay, aplanospores which are non-motile. It's just making you feel easy, nothing else. These spores are endogenous produced in sporangium. See, some spores are produced endogenously and some are exogenously. Endogenous spores are produced in sporangium, as in rhizopus, as you have seen in the figure. But exospores are those spores which are produced in conidia form, as in penicillium. Okay, those are exospores, and these are endospores in rhizopus. Endospores in sporangium. A zygospore is formed by fusion of two gametes that we have seen in the diagram. These gametes are similar in morphology, that means isogamy, or dissimilar, that means anisogamy or oogamy. Iso means same, gametes means gametes. Okay, same gametes. Anisogamy means different gametes. Oogametes means oogamous type of reproduction is a reproduction in which the ovum or the female reproductive the female gamete is very much big and is non-motile. The male gamete is small and is motile, particularly as we see in humans. Okay, then some common examples are uh, what is this, Mossar, Rhizopus, Albugo, the parasitic fungi on mustard. Okay, these are the examples. Next comes Ascomycetes, commonly known as sac fungi. The Ascomycetes are mostly multicellular. Example, Penicillium, or rarely unicellular. Example, yeast. So, yeast belong to Ascomycetes, which is unicellular. But almost all of the fungi which belong to Ascomycetes are multicellular. Example is Penicillium. They are saprophytic, decomposers, parasitic, or what is this? Coprophilous. That means growing on dung. Okay. Then see, the most important point over here is they are saprophytic. They may be saprophytic, decomposers, parasitic, or coprophilous. That means growing on dung. Then mycelium is branched and separate. Branched means they have many branches. If we take one mycelium as the main axis, then the main axis or the main mycelium has many branches in it. So they are branched and separate. That means they have compartments. Okay. Then the asexual spores are conidia, produced exogenously. As I had explained, conidia are exogenously produced spores, and then the spores, the sporangia produces spores which are endogenous in nature. Okay, exogenously on special mycelium called as conidiophores. Conidia on germination produces mycelia. Sexual spores are called as ascospores, which are produced endogenously, like in sac-like asci, singular ascus. These asci are arranged in different types of fruiting bodies called ascospora. Some example are aspergillus, okay, and neurospora. Neurospora is used extensively in biochemical and genetic work. Many members like morels and truffles are edible and are considered what is this, delicacies. Okay, next. Okay, so next, coming to the next class, that is Basidiomycetes, commonly known as mushrooms. Okay, these are parasitic in nature. They grow in soil, on logs, on drums. These are parasitic in nature. Example, rust and smuts. Okay, the mycelium is branched and separate. Asexual spores are generally not found. That means they are vegetatively or sexually reproducing organisms. Vegetative reproduction is by fragmentation is common. Fragmentation is a process in which the body divides into many simple pieces, and then each piece regenerate, no, not regenerate, accomplish into a new individual. Okay, next, the sex organs are absent, but plasmogamy is brought by the fusion of two vegetative or somatic cells of different strains or genotype. That means fusion of plasma. Okay, the resultant structure is dikaryotic, which ultimately gives rise to basidium. Okay, that means the resulting structure, that means after the fusion it is dikaryotic, means two nucleus are present, and then uh, later on when it fuses it gives to basidium. Then karyogamy and meiosis takes place in the basidium, producing four basidiospores. The basidiospores are exogenously produced in basidium. Okay, this can be like it can be very goodly explained in the case of Puccinia. Puccinia causes red rust or the black rust in wheat. Okay, This is the stage in alternate host. The Puccinia attack, like it completes its life cycle in two hosts. It needs two hosts. One is beet and another one I am not sure about it, but it is barberry or something like that only. Okay, so in second host it comes to basidiomycetes stage. Okay, here it forms four spores. Okay, and that fruiting bodies are called as basidiocarps. So the four fruiting bodies are formed, which are called as basidiocarps, and then from those basidiocarps the basidiospores originate. Okay, then some examples are agaricus and Puccinia. Hmm. Then Dendromycetes, commonly known as imperfect fungi because only asexual or vegetative phase of these fungi are known. When sexual form of these fungi were discovered, they were moved into classes with rightly which sorry into classes they rightly belonged to. It is also possible that asexual and vegetative stage have been given one name and sexual stage another name. Later, when the linkage is established, the fungi were correctly identified and moved out of Dendromycetes. Once the perfect stage of members of Dendromycetes were discovered, they were often moved into Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes. Okay, see, when here the thing is that the organisms are not correctly known, or it sometimes so happens that the sexual uh, the sexual stage, okay, the sexual stage is in some other group and the vegetative and asexual stage is in Dendromycetes group. When the linkage is established between the sexual, vegetative and asexual method, and we come to know that it's single organism but not two organisms, then they are rightly moved into other categories such as Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes. Mainly it is of two groups only. Okay, then Dendromycetes reproduce only by asexual spores known as conidia. Conidia, as in the case of Penicillium. Okay, the mycelium is septate and branched. It is septate and branched. Some members are saprophytes or parasites, while a large number of them are decomposers of light litter and help in mineral cycling. Some examples are Alternaria, Colitricum and Trichoderma. Okay, so if any doubts please comment. Okay, next, plant kingdom Plantae. Kingdom Plantae includes all the eukaryotic chlorophyll containing organisms commonly called plants. So it is, these are eukaryotic and also have a chlorophyll. Okay, and chlorophyll, if they have chlorophyll, that means they can produce their own food. That means they are autotrophic organisms also. But some are heterotrophic, such as insectivorous plants. Okay, some are heterotrophic, such as insectivorous plants or parasites. Bladderwort and Venus flytrap are examples of insectivorous plants. Cuscuta is a parasitic plant. The plant cell have an eukaryotic structure with prominent chloroplast and cell wall, mainly made of cellulose. You will study eukaryotic cell structure in detail in chapter 8. Plantae includes algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes and gymnosperms. Life cycle of plant has distinct two phases: the diploid sporophyte and the haploid gametophyte, that alternate which with each other. The lengths of haploid and diploid phase and whether these phases are free living or depend on other vary among different groups. in plants. This phenomena is called as alternation of generation. You will study further details in kingdom Plantae in chapter 3. Okay, so they are trying to explain what are the major characters like and also the divisions in kingdom Plantae. So here Plantae includes division like algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Okay, these are mainly photosynthetic, that means they are autotrophs, but some are exceptions which are heterotrophs like insectivorous plants and parasitic plants. Insectivorous plants examples is Venus flytrap and bladderwort, and parasitic plant is cuscuta. Then the defining character is that they have chloroplast and they have cell wall which is made up of cellulose. But in animalia or in animals we don't have chloroplast nor we have cell wall. Okay, then the divisions are algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Angiosperms are highly evolved plants. Okay, life cycle of plant is distinguished into diploid sporophyte and haploid gametophyte. And like the duration of haploid gametophyte and diploid sporophyte depends from organism to organism, which is the most like very free living kind. It takes longer time than the other form, and this shifting of generation from diploid sporophyte to haploid gametophyte is called as alternation of generation, which we will study in deeper level in chapter 3. Then comes to kingdom Animalia. It's very much opposite from kingdom Plantae. These are heterotrophic eukaryotic organisms. Okay, these are multicellular. They lack cell wall, but in Plantae they had cell wall. Okay, and they have holozoic mode of nutrition. That means they ingest food. Okay, they don't prepare, they ingest. Okay, then they are capable of locomotion and sexual. They only reproduce by sexual reproduction, but some also reproduce by asexual reproduction. Those are exceptions. Mainly by sexual reproduction, that is by copulation of male and female beings. Then there is an embryological development, and then silent features of various phyla are described in chapter 4. Then comes to the last part of the lesson, that is virus, viroids, prions and lichens. Virus are the bridge between living and non-living characters, non-living organisms. Okay, living viruses show both the characters of living and non-living organisms, and they are explained over here. Okay, these are not truly considered living if we understand living as those organisms that have cell structure. First thing is that they don't have a proper cell structure. If we take a plant cell or an animal cell, the first thing is that they have cell membrane. These don't have cell membrane at all. They have only proteinaceous membrane. Okay, virus are non-cellular organisms that are characterized by having an inert crystal structure outside the living cell. Okay, next, once they infect a cell, okay, once they infect a cell, they take over the machinery of the host cell to replicate themselves, killing the host. Okay, once like if a virus infects a cell, then whole mechanism of the cell is overtaken by the virus genome, the virus DNA or RNA, and then it tries to replicate itself, and then the cell dies off. Okay, then name virus was given by uh, Dimitri in, what is this, Ivanovsky. I don't know how to spell the name, but it was given by this scientist in the year 1892. Okay, then these were found to be smaller than bacteria by M.W. Be- what are the scientists named, dude? Sorry. The name virus was given by this scientist in the year of 1892, and also he discovered that these were the smaller organisms than bacteria. Okay, and then in the year of 1898, scientists proposed this statement called as contagium vivum fluidum, infectious fluid, living fluid. Okay, this was the definition of virus at that time. And then W.M. Stanley in the year of 1935 showed that virus could be crystallized, and crystals consists largely of proteins. They were inert outside and their specific host cell. Viruses are obligate parasite. Okay, Stanley first he crystallized this virus, and then he said that the outermost coat is of protein, and then they are inert outside the host cell. That means they won't interact with the living environment outside the host cell. And he also proposed that viruses are obligate parasites. Then then we came to know that in addition to proteins, virus also contains genetic material, that is DNA or RNA. But the point to be noted is that viruses don't have both RNA and DNA at the same time. A virus is a nucleoprotein and genetic material is infectious. When a virus infects a cell, it's not that it goes into the cell. The thing what it does is it just leaves its DNA or RNA material, the genetic material, into the host cell. Okay, and then in general the viruses infects the plant are in generally the plant viruses are having single stranded RNA, but the animal viruses may be having single stranded RNA, double stranded RNA, or maybe having double stranded DNA. Bacterial viruses or bacteriophages are generally double stranded DNA viruses. The protein code called as capsid made up of small subunits called as capsomers. The protein called is called as capsid, and it has small subunits called as capsomers. Over here you can see in figure A, these grape like structures are called as capsomers, and this whole entire green part is called as capsid. Okay, and this is the structure of tobacco mosaic virus, which causes disease in tobacco plant. Okay, then capsomeres protect, this is the nucleic acid. These capsomeres are arranged in helical or polyhedral geometry forms. The viruses cause disease like mumps, smallpox, herpes, and influenza. AIDS in human is also caused by virus. In plants, the symptoms can be mosaic formation, leaf rolling or curling, yellowish and vein clearing, dwarfing, and stunned growth. Okay, these are the symptoms of diseases, viral diseases. Then coming to the last page of the chapter, viroids in 1971 discovered a scientist discovered a new infectious agent that was smaller than virus. First of all, what we thought, bacteria are the smallest organisms, then came the virus, then the viroids. Okay, these are the smallest disease causing agents. It was first seen in potato, causing potato spindle tuber disease. Okay, it was just free RNA, it does not have protein coat as in virus. Okay, viruses are just free RNA which even don't have protein coat. The RNA of viroid was a low molecular weight. This is what viroids. Then comes prions. Prions are uh, abnormally folded proteins. Okay, consisting of abnormally folded. Okay, wait, I should read the whole sentence. In modern medicine, certain infectious neurological diseases were found to be transmitted by an agent consisting of abnormal folded proteins. Okay, these are agents which have abnormally folded proteins. The agent was similar in size of virus. These agents are called as prions. The most notable disease caused by prions are BSC, commonly known as mad cow disease in cattle. Mad cow disease in cattle is caused by prions, and also CJD in humans, which is almost all similar like mad cow disease in humans. Okay, then comes lichens. Lichens is a symbiotic association between algae and fungi. Okay, the algae component is called as phycobiont, and the fungi component is called as the mycobiont. Algae produces food, and fungi gives shelter and also provides minerals and nutrients and water for its partner. Okay, it's called phycobionts and mycobionts. And one more point to be said over here is the study of algae is called as phycology. The study of fungi is called as mycology. Okay, phycobionts and mycobionts. Phycobionts means the algal partner, and mycobionts means the fungal partner. Then lichens, the use of lichens is that the lichens are very good indicator of pollution. That means they don't grow where the area is polluted. Okay, so this ends the second chapter. Thank you for patient hearing, and if you like the video, please subscribe, comment, share, and also if you have some doubts or question to be asked, please write them down in the comment section. Thank you. If you have liked the video, please like it. Thank you.